Hey guys. I just had something come to me that I wanted to share. Um, this one's going to be a little more specific. I talk about growing up in these cult groups and these rings, and I want to specifically kind of go into some information as to what do these people look for when they're picking out the goat, or maybe which kids are they going to reward and use as kind of like enforcers in a way. And there's one character trait that they look for when they're trying to identify the goat or the person that they believe is going to snitch, right? Because they have a big secret and they got to figure out who can keep the secret, right? Who will keep their mouth shut and do as they're told, and then who is going to do the right thing no matter what. And so they need to find out who's who. And when they find out the one that's going to not be silent, no matter how many people tell them to be, that's the one that becomes the goat. That's the one that becomes the target. That's the one that becomes the chosen one. And what is that? Empathy. All of these rituals and things that I tell you about, especially the one where they beat the dog in front of the children, and then whatever kid comes up first is try to stop the person from brutally beating the puppy is the one that gets punished severely in front of the other children who are fine with the person beating the dog, and then they get rewarded. Guys, what do you think they're trying to reinforce psychologically? And also, what do you think they're trying to discover? They're trying to discover which one is going to do the right thing no matter what. Which one has the integrity to do the right thing, that stands for truth. Because here's the thing about truth, guys. It doesn't matter how many people don't want to believe it. Truth is truth. It's not determined by the majority. But these rings operate with the idea that if you could get enough people saying the same thing, that will become truth. They want truth determined by the majority. So, when they're looking for their target, they are looking for the person who is strong enough to stand against the current, no matter how many people are going with it. So if you're an investigator and you're working a pedophilia ring case, and you're trying to figure out who's who, you've been interviewing the kids, you need to find the ones. You need to be able to tell the difference between the ones who have empathy and who don't really have empathy. That's going to be a good starting point for you to figure out who's who. And now there's such a thing as covert narcissism too. So you got to keep an eye on that and learn to see what characteristics that entails. Because a covert narcissist can pretend to be an empath pretty well. But they'll slip up. They always do. You can't fake. You can't fake it forever. Eventually yourself is going to show. Yeah, that's what I would look for. I would try to find the kid in the group that is the leader. The kid that's going to stand up for others. Stand up to the bully. The one who says the thing that everyone's thinking but is afraid to say. That's who you need to be looking for. And you'll notice a common theme when you can pick out the one that's going to go against the majority. They'll be the problem. That'll be the common theme. You'll see that all the other people, kids, victims, people who are in this ring, they'll have a problem with that one. A lot of times it's the black sheep. Yeah. So, be on the lookout for that, guys. Good luck.